All right, welcome back, folks. I'm sorry it's been a hot minute since my last update here, but the wind hasn't been cooperating, and I also had a week home for some family obligations. So I'm just going to give a quick update here, and hopefully the wind will hold through this, so bear with any noise. Basically, on the exterior, I'm in tidy up mode. So a lot of the things that I've been working on, you can see I've got scrap piles, lumber piles all over the place. When I have clean lumber, not pressure treated, no chemicals in it, not OSB. I've got a little burn pit that I've been burning that in some clean cardboard, just trying to tidy the site up and reduce how much I'm bringing to the landfill. And, you could say one thing or another about whether to burn trash, but, this is a fairly common process. So I'm not putting a ton of stuff in the air, and I'm definitely being very careful. There's no plastics or anything like that in there. Just, like I said, mostly cardboard and paper, stuff like that. I've got a bunch of weird things going on with the soffit lines and my eaves, just stuff that is not going to get touched. You're seeing kind of the tail end of that work. As you can see, I've got almost all of the shingles done, and I basically ran out of money. So shingles are very expensive. Thank you, Trump, with your tariffs. They've gone from 33 bucks a pack up to 55. So I kind of can't afford to finish the very peak and some of the little bits there. So that stuff's going to have to wait a couple of months, but it's not a priority. So it's fine for right now. I have gotten all the windows installed. I have not gotten them completely flashed. So you can see I've got some flashing tape on some windows, but some gaps around a few of them, like above the dining room. And also some of the windows are not perfectly lined up. I'm going to get in there, and I ran out of screws basically. So I kind of got them in there with 2 screws a piece just to hold them for now. And I will be going back through and getting a nice long 8-foot straight edge and making sure they're all in a perfect grid. Otherwise, I'm really happy with how that came out. And what I'm starting on now, let's go inside and take a look. I have started plumbing. So I'm going to keep this video short because if I walked around to show you what's going on underneath, it would just be a little too tedious. So we're going to look at the inside first. As you can see, got the front door installed. Had a little glitch. One little issue here where with the framing, I think I showed this in my last video, I think my mudroom actually came a little bit out of alignment from some of the winter winds. And I really should have gone back in and re-leveled those walls and re-squared everything, and I didn't do that. So this door frame is actually out of square now. I got the door in as best I could, and basically you can see what I'm doing is sort of sawzall, hacky chipping away at that. I mean, you're never going to see it. It's all going to be closed up, so I'm not really worried about the cosmetics of what it looks like right now. But, obviously that's a rookie mistake that I could have avoided. Door lock sets in. And the door is looking pretty great. Did get a slight bit of damage in transit, so I'm going to have to paint that and clean that up, but just minor stuff. Otherwise, it swings great, hangs perfectly level. I've only got the bucket here because the wind would blow it closed. It hangs exactly right on its own. So even though the frame is out of square, I did install the door properly. Coming back in here, you can see that although I have not made a lot of progress with it, I have started doing some cleanup. So that previously there was some lumber here, and I'll explain why in a minute. I've been moving some of the lumber over to kind of out of the way and also kind of stashing it above. If you see where my rafter ties are, I've got 3 rafter ties in and a couple to go. So I will be installing a few more there, and I've got them staged so that I can do that. But again, just hasn't been a priority. There's plenty of structure up there. Again, in earlier videos, I may have said I took kind of a belt and suspenders approach. So although it's framed as if that was a ridge board, it does actually have also columns. So technically it's a structural ridge beam, ton of hardware. That roof isn't going anywhere. So I'm not super worried about it for right now. And got a couple of other things in here that I'll be working on. Outside, I have about 6 or 7 sheets of OSB left. And I will be installing them on this internal wall here. So this is actually going to be a shear wall. And one of its purposes is to resist the wind. And the wind here is pretty fierce. This wall has a big hinge point in it. Right along that point there, you can see where I've got 2 plates. And what you don't want is for the wind to push that wall in and have it kind of bend the wall. Now, it's already got a lot of structure there to prevent that, but I want to, again, belt and suspenders it. So I will be putting some OSB on this wall here, and that will make this a shear wall or a braced wall panel, however you want to describe it. And that will prevent any racking coming out of this wall. And that will go all the way up to the ceiling. So it's going to do a lot to help stiffen the structure and to keep this thing just, rock solid. What I'm working on now, though, is plumbing. And I may have mentioned this in the last video, or you may have seen it kind of peeking out, but I did buy a lot of plumbing supplies, and here you can see I got a lot of the pipe. All my fittings are outside because most of the fittings will go there. Things like all my bends and you know, stuff like that, my unions. So all of the material is going to end up outside. This 2-inch stuff and 1.5 inches is for the black is for the vent stack, and the white PVC is for the drain lines. So this is all interior plumbing here, and these will be what I'm using to, you know, get all of my sinks and basically everything else from my drain groups, the technical term, plumbed in and ready to go. So we're in what's known as the rough-in phase. And rough means it's rough. It's not going to look too impressive, but it's coming together. You can see what I've got going on here. This is not how it's going to look. That cap is just there so I don't lose it. And that bottom coupler is not coupling anything. It's just there to act as a sleeve to hold that in place so that I can get underneath it, get the elbows on, get everything supported properly. So everything is going to get supported in various ways. Really, right now, I'm just trying to get my layout done. I needed to get this drain, which is going to be for the washer, for the utility sink, and that drain, which is going to be for the washing machine, set up, because the line between those will run beneath my feet here and come down and meet up with the main drain. So you kind of can't see it behind the stud packs here, but back behind here is where all the venting is going to happen, and the main drain for the house is kind of down over there-ish. So all of that stuff has to be tied in, and that means that I'm going to be having a 3-inch line with a Y that runs down this direction at about a 45-degree angle, and I'd like to pick that up. So I'm going to basically, if you look, and this is not an accident, peeking out way back there is the kitchen sink. So the kitchen sink, the washing machine, and the utility sink all more or less line up. And I'll tell you, I hoped it would work that way. I tried to make it work that way, but I didn't expect that it was actually going to land. I really, honestly, this was one of the times I got lucky. I've had plenty of times in this project where I didn't get lucky. This was one of the ones where I won a little battle. So those things are almost dead in line. They don't quite look it because that one's sort of tilted. There's nothing other than that little hose clamp that's kind of sticking out down at the bottom there. I don't know if you can make it out on the film, but there's nothing else holding that pipe up, so it'll wobble around in its position. But once I get everything in line and lined up, I've got enough play in the holes that I drilled, about a 1/2 inch around them, that I'll be able to get these lined up, plumbed in, and tied in together, all teed up and ready to go into one common drain group, is what we're calling this here. And then over in the master, if we walk around here, you can see I've already got my closet flange in for the toilet. I have not yet drilled the hole for the shower, and that's because my wife and I are still talking about where exactly we want the drain, whether we want an end drain on the perimeter or whether we want something that's more one of those concealed removable tile drains that is usually about 2 feet out from the wall. The plumbing's a little bit easier if I pull it out from the wall, but not so much that it really changes everything. So yeah, we're going back and forth on that. But either way, I don't want to drill the hole until we know where it's going. So I've got that all ready to go. I just haven't drilled it yet. And as we talked about in previous videos, this is going to be a walk-in shower. So the shower will be oriented this direction, and you'll walk in around the corner over here. And then I will have one last drain group for the master sinks. We'll have a double vanity here, a single vanity on the other side of that wall for the guest bath, and all of those will tie into this vent line here that goes up through the roof. So obviously I have a lot of work left to do. I've got to get my vents installed in the roof and flashed under the shingles. I have the flashings for them. I just haven't installed them. I got to run those down, tie those into all these drain groups, get them run to where they're supposed to go, get a couple of more holes drilled, and then the one thing I didn't get lucky on, which, you know what, I'll take it, is I do have one closet flange. This will be for the master toilet. These appliances are just temporarily stored here. This is not where the washer dryer are going, obviously. But this toilet, when I went to drill that hole, this was, you know, I didn't drilled it oversized. I only drilled a 3-inch hole. It's supposed to be 4.5 to fit the closet flange, and that was on purpose. I wasn't sure. I knew I was going to just about hit that joist, and I wasn't sure if I'd be able to kind of skim it over just a little bit. Remember, I have a double thickness of flooring here, and it's just not going to work out. So I'm going to get an offset flange, re-drill this so that that hole is going to be elongated kind of out that direction there. And the offset flange comes down at about a 45-degree angle, so it'll just miss that joist. It's got 1.5 inches, actually 1.78, 1.82 inches, something of play in it. So it'll just miss that joist, drop right down, nice and neat as you please, and I'll tie all these together into a drain group, get them all vented, and we should be good to go. So yeah, I'm on day 3 of plumbing here. I would say it's going relatively well. I wouldn't say it's easy. Don't want to tell plumbers that they're not doing hard work because, man, you guys do a lot of math and a lot of figuring and a lot of problem solving. So if any plumbers are watching this, I got mad respect for how you sort out some of these weird issues that come out of framing. But I'm working around it. I think everything's coming together well, and stay tuned. I'm probably going to try to pick up the pace on the videos and try to produce more shorter videos. So hopefully I can get into a pace where I'm doing about 2 a week. But next week I will again be taking a week off, driving my son out to hit the ferry to bring his car out to college in Hawaii. So that sounds going to be a fun adventure. And then in a couple of weeks, actually closer to about a month and a half, I guess, around mid-September, I'll be out hunting elk and just kind of chasing stuff through the mountains. So I will have a couple of work stoppages here, but fortunately we're at a point where I think I can absorb that. And honestly, if anybody is contemplating any kind of construction like this, I will say framers sweat the most, aside from maybe foundation guys. But plumbing and electrical costs the most. When you start fitting out this stuff, man, we started picking out tile. We're looking at $3,000 a tile just in the bathroom. So, you know, you got to be careful about what you wish for there. And I would say that although I think the plumbing and electrical tasks will go quickly, you may see the videos come out slowly because we're now going to be working against our budget. And instead of just buying a whole pile of 2x4s at $4 a pop, each one of these closet flanges was like $30. So it really does add up pretty quickly, and that's something you really need to prepare yourself for. And even once all the rough-ins are done, and I haven't even started freshwater, once all that stuff is done, I still have to finish them. So, you know, you're buying fixtures, vanities, toilets, tile, showers, shower pans, grout, you know, DITRA, decoupling membranes, the whole 9 yards. It just really adds up quickly. So make sure you go in, you know, with open eyes, and you set your budget pretty realistically. I think we're going to be making some sacrifices. We may be getting some low-end remaindered or, secondhand or Craigslist finds, kind of anything we can find anywhere just to get fixtures in place so we can pass our inspections. And then you can always replace a sink later. So nothing says that you can't do that. So we really just want to get things fleshed out, and stay tuned. We'll be doing a lot of work here, and thanks for watching.